have you all here this morning. This was an idea brought forth by Nance Harris, who's one of the Eucharistic visitors that visited Mom and my brother Chris on a weekly basis. And it's a wonderful ministry, and it keeps the folks in touch with the church. But Nance couldn't be here because if you're on Facebook with them, you know they're off all over the place right now. It's like, are they in Spain or Sweden? Maybe I think they're in Sweden today. Anyway, so good morning. Thank you all for being here. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the person, the very special person that we're going to honor this morning. Marilu Norden. Yay! Marilu Norden was born Mary Louise Young in Calais, Maine, which is a very small town adjacent to the Canadian border, on July 28th, 1925. Apparently, her mom was in labor, and they were trying to get to the good hospital in Canada, but they didn't quite make it. So they got to the not so good hospital in Calais, but she was born. And fortunately, there were no complications, so that was good. So Marilu's father, Reverend Carey Young, was a Presbyterian minister, and he also served as an army chaplain in the 1940s and 1950s. Traveled all over the world. Her mother, Mary, was a dietitian and a homemaker. Her grandfather also was a Presbyterian minister. You can imagine what I was baptized in by my grandfather. Okay. And she actually had an uncle who was a missionary in Iran back in the 20s and 30s, which was also interesting. So as a child, Marilu showed a very early interest in visual art. And later, in school plays, she discovered the joys of dancing, singing, and acting in front of an audience. While she was growing up, Marilu's family lived in Columbus, Ohio, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Pasadena, and several other places. They moved around a lot. While attending junior high school in Baltimore, Marilu was chosen by her art teacher to represent the school at the Walters Art Gallery, which is now the Walters Art Museum in Baltimore. There she served for 2 years as a junior docent, leading tours of the Renaissance art collection there. She graduated from high school in Baltimore in 1943, and then spent 2 years studying fine art at Syracuse University. In 1945, after her sophomore year, she spent a summer working as a maid cleaning cabins at Camp Curry in Yosemite National Park. And then from there, she made her way somehow to New York City, where she attempted to break into the highly competitive field of magazine illustration. And while she was in New York trying to break into that field, she supported herself as a model and a sales girl in the junior Miss department at Saks Fifth Avenue. At night, she volunteered as an artist, drawing charcoal portraits of wounded World War II veterans in a local hospital there in New York City. And now the fun begins. In 1946, Marilu met and married David Philip Jones in Stamford, Connecticut. Stamford is just right outside the Bedford community, right outside of New York, about a half hour by train. And she had 2 children, Philip and Kristen, who was actually here visiting from Rhode Island yesterday. Philip was born in 1947, Kristen in 1951. So for 5 years, she assisted my dad in running his very successful ballroom dance school. She performed ballroom exhibition dancing with him at country clubs and community events. And she also managed to find ways to sing on the local radio and TV shows. Now, my dad was a wounded World War II vet who became a nationally recognized ballroom dance instructor. He trained the youngest winners of the annual Harvest Moon Ball in New York City that was held in Madison Square Garden. And his dance students appeared on the Ed Sullivan and Frank Sinatra television shows in the late 1940s and early 1950s. Later in the 50s, after they were divorced, Arthur Godfrey, Arthur Murray, Fred Waring, a lot of other things as well. And there's a photo of Marilu shaking hands with Ed Sullivan in 1950 over there on the back table. Well, sadly, the marriage ended in 1951. I won't go into the details. Marilu spent 6 weeks in Reno, Nevada at a divorce ranch to establish residency in that state so she could get a quickie divorce. As a 4-year-old, I was with her at the ranch and have vivid memories of the entire thing. It was right next to, across the street from a lake, Pyramid Lake, which was really an amazing place. So after the divorce was granted, we moved to Denver, Colorado, where Marilu continued to study art and sang for wounded veterans at an Army hospital through the USO. We moved to Los Angeles in 1953, where as a young single mother of 2 small children, Marilu worked from time to time as a fashion model, as a vocalist with various bands, including the Leighton Noble Orchestra, which was a big deal back then. And she even made a couple of recordings at Capitol Records with a 13-piece orchestra. She also worked part-time in sales and as a medical receptionist to supplement her monthly alimony checks. During that period, she landed her first professional stage role in a production of the musical 3 Wishes for Jamie in Hollywood. And she also, as part of that production, she created large individual pastel portraits of all the cast members, which were displayed in the theater lobby. So she was still trying to keep active as a visual artist during that period. In 1958, she was hired as a lead singer for a 2-week engagement in a show at the Riverside Hotel in Reno, Nevada, where interestingly she actually bumped into some people that she knew at the ranch, 7 years before. So, small world, right? So after a 6-year courtship, in 1959, Marilu married Tom Norden. He was a clinical psychologist. He started his life out as a visual artist as well, but he went into psychology instead. And they moved from Los Angeles to La Jolla, California, and she soon had 3 more children, Michael, Chris, where are you?
Here.
Thank you. Okay. I have my reading glasses on, I can't see anything. Chris and Nick. And it's almost 5, right? Yeah, okay. But she still wanted to be active and do stuff, even though she had all these small kids at home. So she continued to paint and take art classes. And with me as her accompanist, because I was about 14 at the time, she entertained in the wards of the San Diego Naval Hospital and at events of various local civic groups throughout San Diego. She also sang in the choir at La Jolla United Methodist Church for a year. And then the family moved to Del Mar in 1966 and lived there for 20 years. And that's when things really took off for her. She became active in local theater, appearing at the Starlight Opera and the Old Globe Theater in San Diego's Balboa Park. And she won several Best Actress awards for her work in community theater in the San Diego area. She had major roles in plays such as Bus Stop, The Impossible Years, Plaza Suite, Never Too Late, Barefoot in the Park, 3 Men on a Horse, and Life with Father. She played the mother. And Tom, and then also she was in musicals such as Kiss Me Kate, Allegro, Kismet, and Mame. So in 1970, Tom and Marilu bought a commercial property right in the center of Del Mar's commercial district, right downtown. And the area was called Stratford Court. So Tom built a busy therapy practice on one section of the property, and I believe was it a daycare or something in another part? It was a daycare, and they were tenants. And then there was a huge garage in the back, right by the alley, and so Mom had the vision to turn that into a theater and arts, Stratford Studio Theater, a center for the arts. And from 1970 to 1980, people of all ages enjoyed the dance, fitness, theater, and art classes that were held there, as well as plays and music recitals. So Marilu produced, directed, acted, and designed and made sets. And she was involved in the formation of 2 other community theater groups in the north of San Diego County. She also appeared in print ads, and there's some examples of that back there on the table. Print ads, films, and television commercials during those years. And she became quite the local celebrity, you can imagine. Lots of coverage in the paper. Charitable organizations even solicited her art talents, and she designed and produced many brochures and posters and programs. Then they moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and lived there for 10 years from 1989 to 1999. Marilu continued to take art classes and had several one-woman shows there in art shows in Santa Fe. She also performed on stage as well as in film and television. She was an active member of the steering committee for the Greer Garson Theater Center at the College of Santa Fe, and she served on the boards of Santa Fe Performing Arts and the Resource Theater Company. Now, it was in Santa Fe that Marilu branched out into yet another art form, and that was writing. That's where she got the idea to write her first novel, which was called Unbridled, A Tale of a Divorce Ranch, which was loosely based on her experience as a guest at the Nevada Divorce Ranch back in 1951. So let's put it this way, the first 5 chapters pretty much reflect everything that happened to us, and then after that, she sort of went off into women's literature. It was published in 2008 when Marilu was 83. Wow. In 2009, it was an award winner in the fiction and literature women's lit category of the National Best Books Awards, sponsored by USA Book News. Wow. And then in 2010, the book won an award in the International Best Book Awards, also sponsored by USA Book News. In 2012, at age 87, Marilu published her second and final novel, The Ghost Painter, which is a copy of it's right up there. And it's a paranormal thriller set in the art world of New Mexico and New York State. So due to Tom's declining health, Marilu and Tom returned to Southern California in 1999, settling first in Goleta and then in Avila Beach near San Luis Obispo, where Marilu was an active member of an art group and continued to paint and receive awards in local art shows. After 48 years of marriage, Tom passed away in 2007. Marilu moved to the Academy Village retirement community in Tucson, and then back to Santa Fe before relocating permanently to Phoenix in 2012 to be close to our family. She's loved spending time with her grandkids, Jennifer and Kevin, and having the opportunity to get to know her great-grandsons, Henry and Guy. So for the past several years, Marilu has devoted her creative energies exclusively to painting, working with a vibrant palette and a variety of media to share the beauty, mystery, and soul of the Southwest, a subject very close to her heart and her imagination. Her work is primarily focused on Southwest Indians, their architecture, their spirit, and way of life. Marilu believes that art is life, providing food for the soul of both the creator. During Marilu's long life, her strong faith and deep personal relationship with God, along with her perpetually positive attitude, has carried her through many personal challenges. While Marilu has been unable to attend church services at Christ Church Anglican in recent years, she and my brother Chris have enjoyed ongoing personal relationships with our wonderful Eucharistic visitors, specifically Nance and Bill Harris, Mary Ann Grant and Joyce Clark, and John and Carrie Metz. In fact, it was Nance Harris, as I said, who came up with the idea of holding this 100-year birthday celebration today. And I'd really like to thank Mary Ann Grant for taking the responsibility to get the cake and set up all the food and the drinks today. She did a marvelous job. Thank you, Mary Ann.
Yeah.
So as some of you may know, our family has been involved in all aspects of Christ Church Anglican since its founding 18 years ago. Kevin and Aaron were married here in 2011. CCA has been and will continue to be a very important part of our family's life. So on behalf of Pat, Jennifer, Kevin, Aaron, Guy, Henry, and myself, and my brother Chris, we'd like to thank you for joining us to celebrate Marilu's 100th birthday. If you haven't done so already, please take an opportunity to greet her. She'd love to meet you. And now I'd like to lead us all in a rousing rendition of Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. so much for being here this morning. We really appreciate it. I know she does.
Yes.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Bless all of you.